Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the European crossover webinar. And we're seeing the the dollar continue to remain. We'll keep partial part of its gains. Euro continues to remain a little bit lower here on in the 3160s. Just move these into the 2-hour chart. A little bit better perspective. So ahead of Powell's testimony, we did have Bullard on a radio interview, and he knocked the knocked the euro down, or if you want to say brought the dollar up, with the thought that there was no 50 basis point cut coming. Now, a little bit later on in the afternoon, he kind of tilted the other way, suggesting that he was ready to act, and that they were cuts would be coming. So once again, like I said, it's kind of like a bit of a mixed bag. Powell came on, and really the market didn't move that much. It stayed in a very tight range after we had already fallen. Although the one thing that allowed the market then to go on and pop up was Trump came on and said that the dollar was overvalued. So we turned around and saw the euro pop all the way up in here into this area before it fizzled right back out and slid back down here. I think we've got as low as, 52? So we've kind of just stuck in this area here, just not making any moves, bigger moves one way or the other. Now, potentially we're looking for a move. We talked about at the beginning of the week, the areas that I was interested in picking up with 33.37, which was below this key 1343 area here. And that's where the market actually just about went to yesterday, the 43. Now, I thought we could maybe just take that out and dip down right here into 37 and find a little bit better buying support coming in there, right around the 1337-ish. If we broke from these upper levels, we came pretty close to the 43. We didn't even quite hit the 43, and the market came back here, but I thought we would have dipped lower. But we haven't done a whole lot, and I'm thinking if we do break lower, then the market will want to. I don't think it's not going to stop here at 37. I don't believe. So at this point, I'd be more interested in coming around 27, 28, and then lower beyond that would be around 12. Okay. I still think the euro is a buy, but at the same token, my thought process at the beginning of the weekend has been when the cash dollar index, let's come back here. Was that when the cash dollar index came down here into this area here, that I was looking for this to hold fairly well, and that we would be bid. Now it's still early; it's only Wednesday morning, but we would be bid as we get closer to the G20, and that can certainly still happen. I remember, what was it, 2 Fridays ago, when the dollar was just hanging around here, and then all of a sudden, we turned around and we just took off like crazy on a Friday. But I mean, I think we'll be bid going into the G20. So with that, and also we did see the cable come undone after really pushing higher and just really came lower. The cash dollar, I mean, not cash dollar, I meant to say the Canadian dollar, we're still expecting to move down here to 31.36. We'll look at this just quickly. So we're still looking to move for 31.36. I think that'll come about. We did get a little bit of a pop when Bullard made those comments, but we've quickly given up those gains, and I think that 31.36 will be won't be long before we get there. Now, we did get the RBNZ yesterday. They held rates steady, but they were rather laying the table potentially for further cuts, but we actually rebounded and we were able to get past this 66.60 here. Which really augurs for a little bit higher in here, potentially up to 67 cents, but we shall see. There's a 67.09. So let's go and take a look at the news. Kind of get a lay of the land and see if they give us a flavor for the morning. Urged on by the hardcore Brexiteers, Boris Johnson has made his campaign for the premiership all but about one date, October 31st. His comment yesterday that the UK would be leaving the EU by then, do or die, has captured newspaper headlines this morning and came with a challenge to his rival, Jeremy Hunt, to make a similar statement. The hardline stance was further confirmed by news that the Eurosceptic Ian Duncan Smith had been appointed as chairman of the Johnson campaign in the final stages. Separately, even a fellow Brexiteer such as Trade Minister Liam Fox has flatly contradicted Johnson's assertion that Britain could use international trade rules to ensure tariff-free Brexit trade. But such is the mood of this campaign that details like that hardly seem to matter. Let's take a look here. Not interested in any real politics. A U.S. interest rate cut as soon as next month may be in the works, but it's unlikely to be the aggressive half percentage point that many of the world markets have begun to expect. In a delicate piece of expectations management and amid a daily barrage of criticism from the White House, Federal Reserve Chief Powell on Tuesday restated the Fed's independence and insisted it should not be overreact to short-term developments, even though he clearly flagged concern about the weakening domestic and global economies and effectively signaled the Fed was considering an easing of policy. Disappointing U.S. consumer confidence and housing data on Tuesday reinforced that. As if to underline the Fed's nuance, St. Louis Fed Chief Bullard said he didn't think the economy needed a 50 basis point cut as soon as next month, even though rates should be lowered by that amount by year end. The net effect in the futures market was to have the percentage of chance of a 50 basis point easing in July to about 20% while leaving a quarter point fully priced in. 10-year treasury yields nudged back higher overnight to gain a toehold above 2%, and the dollar's index has recovered lost ground. Dollar yen bounced back above 107, with the euro dollar balking at the 114 and slipping back to this morning. After 6 straight days of gains, gold prices staged their biggest one-day fall since April. I mean, I was looking, I had mentioned I was looking for the near-term target in the XAU was going to be 14.38 and the high was 14.39.20. And from there, we immediately fell $19 and then we rallied back up. And I'm thinking we're going to eventually get down to in the 1390s. That's on the XAU. The futures are trading at about a $4 premium. Set aside the noise around the G20 summit this weekend and the bilateral meeting between President Trump and China's President Xi were mixed. While U.S. officials indicated hope that the meeting would restart talks and defer next month's tariff rises, they stressed that Trump would not bring any concessions to the table. Wall Street stocks fell again, with the S&P 500 taking the incoming economic data and Fed message badly and dropping almost 1% for the first time this month. Elsewhere, Brent crude prices jumped above $66. Attention turns to Bank of England. Governor Carney and several other his policymakers testified to Parliament later in the day about their economic forecasts, interest rate guidance, and latest inflation report. Price for another cut in BOE rates over the next year in line with global trends. The BOE's persistent message that a rate hike is more likely than a cut will be examined closely yet again. Starting with lower, the first thing, Eurozone economic soundings were mixed early on Wednesday. German consumer morale fell for the second time in a row heading into July, a survey showed, but French consumer confidence beat forecasts this month. And lastly, take a look at the dollar. Dollar edged up to a 3-month low. From a 3-month low on Wednesday as investors dial back expectations for an aggressive U.S. rate cut. Bullard, seen as one of the most dovish U.S. central bankers, surprised some investors by saying a 50 basis point cut in rates would be overdone. New Zealand dollar bounced back after the nation's central bank skipped a chance to cut interest rates at a policy meeting. Traders still expect the Fed, the RBNZ, and other central banks to cut rates in the coming months as the outlook of global growth dims and will be a major driver of currency moves. Fed is likely to cut rates, said Shinichiro Kododa, Bank Barclays. How much of a cut will depend on the economic data in the Group of 20 meeting. I would not expect this rally in the dollar to extend much further. Oh, okay, so he's not looking for too much further. I still think we'll be, well, he's not saying too much further, but I still think that will be bid going into the G20. So if you're looking at the euro, I think the euro would go a little bit lower and potentially, like I said, down into potentially down into the 13 teens. Powell's worried about curbing excess expectations, but the Treasury yields are clearly heading lower, and U.S. economic data are not looking great. Still, the tone was unmistakably dovish, with minutes showing the policymaking committee discussed whether to see the meeting and agreed a move would likely be needed in time. That's in reference to the RBNZ. BOE has said rates would need to rise in a gradual fashion as long as Britain avoids a no-deal exit from the European Union. However, sterling remains dogged by concerns that Eurosceptic Boris Johnson will become Britain's next prime minister, increasing the chance of a no-deal Brexit. With that, we'll go on and move into the buys chart. Well, here we are in the euro. We did get into this zone. Now, I thought that we had the opportunity before Bullard, took the air out of the balloon about the 50 basis point cut. I thought we had an opportunity to take out this high by just a little bit. We had our resistance there at 1427. I thought that we could maybe even tag into the 30s potentially. But like I said, Bullard came out and basically pricked the balloon and let the air out. And what Powell said, even though what Powell said definitely wasn't, I wouldn't say hawkish, but I mean definitely wasn't non-dovish, but it didn't have any impact once Bullard had let the air out of the balloon. So now we're somewhat restrained as to where we're going to go today. So looking out. Interesting. Let's see here. Let's go on and we come into the States. There's a German confidence, French. Well, durable goods. I mean, if we come in weaker, that certainly has a chance to push the dollar down again. Wholesale inventories, durable goods. We'll just go with this 1396 for now. 1396. And I'm wondering if the 1326 even is a little bit closer. Let's go with 1324 just to leave it just a nudge lower. Give me just a moment. Let's go move into the cable. You know, it surprises me. We got above this 2734, you know, at the end of the week, looking like, okay, we're open to move higher, which we did. But I mean, how quickly we gave this up is, I mean, we haven't given it up in a huge way because this is, you know, some key support here at this 2657. But holy smokes, I mean, that thing really came down. Let's go and take a look into the 2 hour. Well, there it is, 2644. So if it does break, it breaks. But for right now, there's our support level here. So we'll go at 2644. On the upside, we're actually going to lower this a little bit lower right there. 2715. Obviously, depending on what the Carney says today, we could actually just go right past that, but we'll keep it pretty tight. Let's go move into the Aussie dollar. Nice move here in the Aussie dollar. Certainly benefiting, I would think, from the move we saw in the from the Kiwi. And we were able to, at least for now, get above the 69.62. Let's take a look on a 2 hour, see if we get a little bit closer look at what we can move up to. Let's see. Let's just go with this 50% right here at 70.18. We'll go there just a nudge lower, right before the 50%, which comes in at 70.13. 70.13. We'll go with that. Let them take out some stops above 70 cents. As far as support, this definitely moves up right in here. Have to take out those lows if we break low, and if we do, support will come in right there at 69.31. And let's go with the Kiwi. Sure, it looks like we want to make this front appear to 67 cents, which isn't that far away. Right there, you see from right here coming across 67.16. That actually confluences with these two lows here. Let's go with 67, 60. It's not even that far away. 67.27. Right here, 67.27. 67.27. And let's go move into the 2-hour chart here. Support is going to be 66.31 for the Kiwi. And let's go move into the dollar CAD. No change here. We're still expecting to move down here to 31.36. Actually, if we break lower, we'll probably see. I mean, I think this is the area is going to hold, but can we stab a little bit lower? Yeah, sure. That stab will probably take us to about, I don't know if I want to go that far. Hold on. Let's take a look here. Overall, our move is for a move to 31 cents with our Asian analysis. Um, let's go right there at 31.26. On the upside, we're really in the dirt here. We'll go with 32.05. 32.05. There. And onto the dollar peso. That 1923.6 is actually held up very, very well. You can see here, look how the market took some stabs above it, but could we get a 2-hour close above it? No. So this 1923.6 is holding like a rock here. We can show it here on the daily. We've had that in place for 2.5 weeks. There we go, right there, 23.6. Stabs above it, but they couldn't close the deal. So the 1923.6 continues to hold, okay? On the downside, let's go into the 2-hour chart. There's that 23.6. Like I said, a couple of stabs above it, but nothing. It's going to be right here. 19.12.5. And the dollar yen did reach that target. Doggone, I've never got into this thing. Sheesh. We've been looking for a long time for the 676, and this market made it all the way down to, what was it, 678. I don't even, be honest with you, I don't even remember the last time I traded the dollar yen. May have been like 2 weeks ago I think it was like 2 weeks ago, or maybe 2.5 weeks ago, on a quick little move up in here, something like that. It's been a while. All I know has been a while, and been looking for a move eventually down to 676, and I'll be doggone if we didn't make it. And I never was in this thing. Holy smokes. Let's go and move into the 2-hour chart. Sometimes it doesn't pay when you hold. Well, yeah, I'm saying when you don't hold. I mean, there's some trades I guess sometimes I'll be having to hold. I mean, I don't like to. I prefer just to scalp/day trade. But here's one that just like, what a bozo. Been looking for 676 and just never was. I mean, we'd get these bounces and sometimes they just kind of hang around, but eventually we'd roll back down and, oh, well, that's the way it goes sometimes. I mean, we've already gone and hit this key level down here at 676. I mean, 678 was when we got to 678, so we missed it by 2 pips. This thing is pretty much milked it for all it's worth. So we'll just move this. Some 14 on the downside. On the upside, $765. And I don't even have a good, I mean, after we made it down here, pretty much they milked it for all it's worth, and I have no idea what this thing wants to do at this time. I really don't at this point. So guess we can move it right here. That's about it. 767. Other than some short cover, and I have no idea what this thing wants to do at this point. Doggone shame not to benefit from that move. Let's move into the cash dollar index. Well, we did go and hold this area. We're looking about that 95.90, the 95.98. We can still push higher, and we've got this 96.50 here. Take a look on the 2-hour chart. We'll go right there for 96.55. Caught 96.56. And support. Right there for 96.04. And let's go move into the cross rates. Well, certainly we've seen a pretty good run here with post RBNZ. Um, let's take a look here. Potential we can go to. Well, we're just going to keep it simple right here. And thinking this has a little bit more juice up in here. We're looking at the 72 cents, but before, let's see here. Let's just go with the 72 cents right here. I don't know if they're going to get that today, but this is what they're going to be aiming for. Right there, 71.22 for support. Now this pair stayed relatively quiet here on the euro yen. Let's take a look here on the 2-hour chart. We are boxed in pretty good. We're going to go and keep this 21.65 here. Makes you move it down 2 pips. And on the upside, let's ties a drum there. $22.34. And take a look here with the euro odd. We got that close with 63.41 and we've slid below the 41. Actually, we followed back up with it again. So it looked like it was open to move higher, but obviously Aussie has come back as well as Kiwi. So we're sliding back and we're coming right back to that key level, which is 62.62. We'll see, take a look at it on a 2-hour chart, see how much further we could go beyond that. Comes in right there, 62.50. So we'll go 62.50. And on the upside, it's going to be right there, 63.10. 63.10. And let's go with the Euro Kiwi. So it looks like it wants to make that drop down there, potentially all the way to 69.96. If the Kiwi still has further to run here, after the RBNZ, so we'll go with that 69.95, which is at 78%. So we'll go 69.95 for that stretch. With resistance coming in at right there at 70.70. And moving into the Aussie yen. Looking at this 75.31. Let's take a look on the 2-hour chart. Just took this pause right here. 75.08. We don't want to give it too much room. Let's go with right there. 75.18. And support's going to come in right there. Right there, 74.68. And onto the guppy. Well, we're still hugging the lows here. Carney's going to be talking later today, so there's a potential we could still even slide right back down. So we're going to go right here as it's 35.85. And the upside, boy, I just don't have a good upside on this thing. I just don't. This thing is just stuck in the dirt. $36.57. And let's go with the sterling odd. Well, they're trying to defend this 81.48. Let's see how much further they could press it lower. Let's go right there with 81.31. And on the upside, $82.28. Actually comes in at 82.24. So here's the bias chart for today. Even the euro's pretty quiet, trading at $13.60. Index is just hanging around here. Probably not going to see anything until we get into the U.S. data. But here's the bias chart. I'll go and get that posted in the room. And thanks for joining us here on the European Crossover webinar.